Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's class, Nourish to Flourish. And tonight we're going to talk about how you can use the foods that you eat to change your life for the better. And all of our classes here at Optimal Spine Chiropractic are designed to help you stay engaged in thinking about building health. You know, so many people just ignore their health until there's a problem. And for you, participating and showing up to these classes, sharing these with people, this is a way for you to just keep it at the top of your mind, that your actions day in and day out are either building your health or allowing it to slip away. So our goal is that we keep you engaged with this process and that we are part of helping you express your full potential. We want to see you flourish. Hence the name of the class, Nourish to Flourish. We're not here just to keep you alive, have you survive, see you just get by. We really want to see you get the absolute best out of your life. So tonight we're going to be sharing with you 2 studies that will absolutely inspire you to take positive action when it comes to making changes to your nutrition. And before we do that, I first want you to think about the fact that if you stopped eating, there's going to come a time where you're not going to survive, right? If you don't take in calories and nutrients, then you'll literally starve to death. And depending upon the circumstances, that could take days or weeks, but you absolutely have to take in nutrients. There's a lot of things in life that make our lives more comfortable, things that we enjoy, things that we want, but there's a few things that we absolutely, truly can't live without. You know, it might seem like we can't live without air conditioning on these hot days, but we could. But food, water, oxygen, if we don't have these things, we're not making it. So, that being said, there was a study published in 2009, and it's one of my favorite studies. I shared in a lot of the classes that we teach. It was published in the Archives of Internal Medicine, and they looked at the lifestyle habits of over 20,000 participants. And they looked at rates of different diseases and these habits that people had. And what they found was overwhelming, that there were 4 lifestyle factors, that the more of these that you had, the lower rates of chronic disease. But if you had all 4 lifestyle factors in common, it was an unbelievable slashing of the rates of different diseases. So if you have all 4 of the lifestyle factors found in this study, it cut your risk of cancer by 36%. Over a third less incidence of cancer. That's amazing. A decreased incidence of stroke by 50%. Heart attack slashed by 81%. And diabetes virtually eliminated by 93%. 4 lifestyle factors. And when I tell them to you, you're just going to be like, oh, that's it? It's not some magic pill, some magic wand, some secret sauce. It was 4 things: not smoking, having a healthy BMI, having at least 3.5 hours a week of moderate physical activity, and a healthy diet. Basically, they found a diet high in fruits and vegetables, low in processed foods, an emphasis on whole grains over refined, and lower intake of meat. And these people were cutting their rates of disease. I know that things run in families and there's a tendency, but so much power is on lifestyle, is in your lifestyle and the way you take care of your body on a day in and day out basis. These things seem simple. They're no-brainers. Yeah, I know that's health, not smoking, eating right, exercise, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it seems so simple that it doesn't feel like it's worth the effort. But do not underestimate the power of small things that are repeated over and over and over. We eat several times a day. What you eat has the potential to change your life if we make those consistent choices. So I'm not talking about a fad or a diet. You're always hearing about different ways of eating and, the latest rage of, keto or paleo or all these things. That's not real life, and it's truly not sustainable for most of us. It really doesn't matter how perfectly you do things for a short time, right? If you don't stick with it, it has zero impact on the outcome. We're here talking about, let's make real changes. Let's make real improvements that are actually sustainable, that you'll continue to enjoy your life and build health in the meantime. So, something that I have learned is that the brain works by addition, that it is very difficult to, and this is one of the reasons why those fads tend to not be sustainable. If you tell yourself, no carbs, no meat, no sugar, I'm not eating that, I'm not looking at it, most of the time. So for example, if I told you right now, what I don't want you to think about is a chocolate cake. Just absolutely whatever you do, do not think of chocolate cake. Every one of us, as soon as I say those words, gets this mental picture of chocolate cake, right? We can't get it out of our head. We can't say don't or no, because our brain doesn't even hear that. So it's far easier to add good things than to try to take away or get away from things that are not good or unhealthy for us. So we're going to talk about the 5 additions, the 5 add-ons to improve the quality of the way you nourish your body. Think about it. If food is essential for life and without it you'll die, doesn't it make sense that the quality of food that you take in will have a significant impact on your health? It's not just die or don't die. There's many shades of gray in between. And we want to be emphasizing foods that nourish us and make us more vital. And the first thing that we need to add is peace and gratitude. I am guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We have a tendency, especially in this country, think of all the fast food restaurants we have. We eat on the run. We eat in a rush. I'm usually trying to multitask. When I'm stopping to have a meal, it's a beautiful time to stop, take a breath, and allow your body to experience the meal. Take a moment to be grateful for that meal, the people that you get to enjoy it with. Eating is meant to be a pleasurable experience, and you can build your mental health when you enjoy a meal instead of just scarfing it down and not dying, not starving to death. So first thing is adding peace and gratitude to your meal. Number 2 is adding vegetables and fruits. The article that I mentioned before emphasized that diets high in fruits and vegetables. There's been many studies. The more veggies in a person's diet, the lower the disease. So more vegetables, less disease. So look for ways to add vegetables to your diet. And another study that was published also in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that adding fruits and vegetables to your diet is something that we would call like a keystone habit. That it actually was one of the habits that, when implemented, led to other healthy habits kind of just falling in line. So it's a great place to start when we're working on building our health, is by adding fruits and vegetables. It doesn't have to take away from anything, but when you look at your plate, I want you to ask yourself, where's the vegetables? Where's the fruit in this meal? Can I add some? And I always joke that French fries and iceberg lettuce don't count as vegetables. So if that's all you see, keep looking for something else to add. Vegetables offer us the absolute best source of nutrition. The vitamins and enzymes and minerals that come in fruits and vegetables are beautifully, perfectly balanced. They are in the form that our body can digest and utilize. There's so many supplements, Women's One a Day, a Centrum, that are just going right through people's bodies. They are not being digested at all, or they're just so out of balance. This is not the way nature intended. It's not the way our bodies want to receive nutrition, is from this compressed tablet. If you think about what you see on the label of Centrum, a vitamin C is listed as ascorbic acid. Now that is vitamin C, yes, but it's only one component of vitamin C. When you eat a red pepper, for example, there are, I think, 32 different components to the vitamin C in that red pepper. It's a far cry. So the nutrition is by far the most usable, the most available, and it's in this beautiful balance. We can't get it better than nature got it. So let's look for ways to add. Things that I like to do are adding veggies to smoothies, adding veggies to scrambled eggs, using vegetables as a way to sub out for other things that are maybe less nutritious. So pasta doesn't have a lot of nutritional value, but if you roast cauliflower, chopped up cauliflower, and use that in lieu of pasta, or just, half of the pasta in the recipe. Looking for ways to, maybe grate carrots into your oatmeal. So this is one thing that I always do. I try to wash a bunch of veggies that are good to eat raw, buy bags of sugar snap peas or snow peas, and just have a lot of cut up, ready to rock veggies on hand. So as I'm making dinner, I pull that out because everybody's starting to say, hey, I'm hungry, when's dinner? And I say, snack on a couple of veggies while I'm getting dinner ready. There's also lots of products I've seen on the market. I've been suggesting to people to chop up veggies and add them if you're using any type of ground meat, you're making taco, you're making sauce, add a little veggie in there. You can sneak it in. A lot of things will go unnoticed in that way. But there's now, pre-made meatballs and hamburgers and things like that have mushrooms or other vegetables built right in. So just look for ways to keep adding a little bit more. And when you add more good stuff, it kind of squeezes out the stuff that maybe is not as nutritious for you. You don't have to say, oh, I can't have that, but you'll be fuller, and you won't have as much room for the other stuff. You can still enjoy it. The third thing that I would like to see you adding is good, healthy fats. Fats have gotten a bad rap. We all know now that we were wrong back in the 80s to say, fat was bad, but we still are like a little afraid of it, right? We haven't really embraced the fact that healthy fats are not only satisfying, they will fill you up and make you feel like you've had a satisfying meal, so you won't be picking or looking for something later. But essential fats are necessary for building a healthy brain, healthy skin. Every cell in your body has fats in the membrane. You want those cells to be healthy, you have to have healthy fats in your diet. If you don't, your body has to make those parts out of junky fats. And unhealthy fats are going to lead to unhealthy cells, and unhealthy cells is an unhealthy you. Unhealthy fats, the bad fats, actually lead to inflammation as well. So anything that is a painful condition or any inflammatory conditions are going to be aggravated just by having unhealthy fats in your diet. We want to look for those healthy fats from nuts, seeds, ideally raw. Olives are a healthy fat, coconut, avocado, and then all the products that are made from those things. So the oils that are made from coconut, avocado, olives, nuts, something like tahini or other nut butters, that's a great way to get healthy fats into your diet. So again, looking at your plate, ask yourself, is there a healthy fat in here? How can I add it? I think a really easy thing to do is just swap out your oils. Corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, those are very unhealthy, highly processed oils that are damaged and cause inflammation in your body. They're cheap junk. And unfortunately, pretty much every packaged or processed food that you can purchase in the grocery store is made with those cheap oils. So it's easy to just switch the ones that you use to cook with. Olive oil is a wonderful choice, but that's one that I would use in lower heat situations, making dressings, making your own mayo. Olive oil doesn't like high temperatures, so over 400 degrees, it can start to get damaged and then be a little bit more like an unhealthy oil. For higher heat situations, coconut oil is fantastic, avocado oil is fantastic, so it's really just an easy switch. Looking at the products that you buy, if you're using a lot of salad dressings, commercially made salad dressings, they may be loaded with unhealthy fats. You got to watch out. Even the ones that say made with extra virgin olive oil, they're typically made with it, not primarily or only. So consider, drizzling your own with oil and vinegar, making your own dressing, or looking for brands. There's a few out there that are genuinely olive oil in the recipe. So take a look at the labels. Fourth thing that we're going to add is more whole foods. So I've mentioned packaged processed foods. They're obviously not as health building. Even things that are organic or gluten-free, you'll see that on things all the time, or it'll say this many servings of whole grains or this many grams of vitamin C. The marketing of these products to make them look healthy can really trick us into thinking that they are. The closer to nature, the closer to the way the food grew from the earth, the better. The more likely it is to build your health. I'm not saying that you should never have packaged or processed foods. That would make life really, really challenging. But just see where you can add more whole foods. So sometimes we reach for a granola bar or a muffin or some sort of packaged snack when it's possible that we could kind of switch that out for a few simple things. If you have the cut up veggies on hand and a little tub of hummus, veggies and hummus make a great snack. Apples and nut butter, or apple and a handful of nuts. Cheese and pickles, that's one of Dr. Mark's favorite snacks. Olives, so they're easier kind of go-to things that could be on hand, but they're closer to their whole food state and therefore will be more nourishing to your health. Last thing to think about adding as we work on this journey of nourishing to flourish is thinking about adding quality to the foods that you're eating. Quality in, thinking about where the food came from. Thinking about potentially buying things organically grown. Less exposure to pesticides would be a beautiful benefit of buying things organic. Look up the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Environmental Working Group, I think it's ewg.org, publishes a list every 2 years of the foods that are typically highly found to be contaminated with pesticides. That's the Dirty Dozen. And then the foods that you should save your money on. You don't need to buy organic broccoli. It's on the Clean 15 list. So you can look at that and see if there's a food on that Dirty Dozen list that you consume a lot of, or you're thinking about, I'm going to start adding spinach to my smoothies to make them more nutritious, but spinach is on the Dirty Dozen list. That might be a place where you would say, I'm going to buy that organic. Quality in proteins is important too. In general, Americans tend to eat far too much meat. And the quality of the meat that we get easily in the grocery store tends to be very low. I want you to think about adding non-meat sources of protein to your diet, quinoa and legumes. Meat is not the only way we can get our protein. And think about getting slightly higher quality, if we can get our hands on it, if we are using animal products, thinking about organic, grass-fed, free range, and actually just consuming a little less of it. It's better for the planet, it's better for your body, it's better for the animals. You'll have to spend a little bit more, but you can eat a little bit less of it and fill in the gaps with more fruits and vegetables. So those are the 5 things that we can think about adding. And this is about living your best life. This is about you taking small, sustainable steps to move your health in a forward direction, to not just be letting it slip away, but to say, I'm taking action. and I'm moving my health in a good direction. But remember, the small things that you stick with are by far going to be the most impactful. You can't just make big changes and think that you're going to stick with that forever. Gradual steps are really the key to success. Think back to how long you can live without food, right? We know it's absolutely critically essential. So any little improvement that you make to the quality of the food that you eat is going to be reflected in your body. You can only live a few weeks without food. At some point, it's a critical necessity to you. Think about how long you can go without water. Far fewer days without water. Water is a more vital need. So making improvements in the way you hydrate your body is going to have an impact on your body as well. Now, you can only last a few minutes without oxygen, right? So that's obviously very necessary. But there's one thing that you can't even last minutes without. That death is instantaneous if you lose the connection from your brain to your body. The spinal cord is an absolutely critical, essential. You can't live without it. Death is instant if you lose that connection. The electrical signals that your brain is sending to your body and your body is sending to your brain, this is your lifeline. This is everything. So as much as I emphasize eating well and making improvements there, and we talk about exercise in all of our classes, and you could be doing it all right. But if there is a disconnect, that the nerve system, something along this connection, this communication system is not 100%, then everything else doesn't matter. Think about how long you can go without these things. That tells you how critical, how necessary, and how impactful the change is. So number one, most important, is that your nerve system is as healthy as it could possibly be. That connection, that electrical information that's flowing through your spinal cord is uninterrupted. That's number one. And then we work our way from there and making these other changes to build our health from the inside out. I'm so happy that you are sharing all of these comments, and I'm getting such great feedback. Please share these videos with people that you know and love and want the best for. Have a great night.